But the other thing that this kind of exposes is we try to empower you as you go through this process to understand that when you change something, whether that be a vitamin, whether that be a medication, whether that be different foods that you're trying out, if you will, um, whether that be an exercise routine, whatever the variable may be that you're changing. Okay.
Mhm.
Cleaning supplies, shampoo, soaps, those things. It's important to be mindful of that because that's an additional variable. Okay. That has to be considered. So we always say anything you put on or in your body, whether, people tell you, oh, it's so good for you or not, you need to just be mindful of that change and make sure you're aware and paying attention to your body. Make note of it, in other words, and then pay attention to your body, especially within the first 7 to 14 days, to see how you're responding. Because what people make a mistake in doing is, somebody will tell them or they'll read, an article online, they'll listen to a podcast, they'll hear their neighbor, their mother, their brother, talk about something that they should be doing. And because they hear, oh, this is good for you, or even medications, you're taking it for this reason, although it's good for me, like I also have to pay attention to my unique body and how it's responding. It really exposes itself, to be quite honest, in this process when there's certain level of healing that takes place and people kind of forget, oh, I am taking 3, 4, 5 different medications. And they kind of forget like the healing that takes place literally every single day as they're working through this process. So by week 8, 9, 10, unless the conversation is had, is like, hey, we're never directing you to increase or decrease your dosage. That's by far and away for your prescribing physician. But it's worth having the conversation to say, hey, it's time. You've healed quite a bit. And it's time to take a look at even the negative side effects of what you're consistently putting in your body, even though your prescribing doctor, your MD, your general practitioner, whatever it might be that you're seeing that prescribed that for you, said you need this for, let's say, X reason. Medications are brilliant. They can be absolutely life-saving. Okay. So it's not that we're anti-medication, but what they won't do is actually get you healthy. They will manage a disease process. Okay. They will manage sickness or, a pathological process that they're trying to slow down and or mitigate the impact of the symptoms of that they found, but they won't create health. And so sometimes, as we've talked before, you need both your prescribing physician, modern medicine, and us. But what our goal in our job is to make sure that we give you the information, we back it with expertise and experience to help move you down the spectrum away from dependency of those medications. And if you are, sitting here today and you are taking prescription medications, absolutely worth you taking a look at it. And you can do that in a variety of ways. You can simply Google it, which is pretty reliable because you can go straight to the company, that produces that prescription. The other way you can do it if you really want somebody official is just go to your pharmacist, right? And they'll print out a list of side effects right there for you. So that way you can walk away with it, highlight what you're experiencing, if anything, right? So you can take a highlighter or make a list of any symptoms that you're experiencing from, that are common with those negative side effects. And
Mhm.
that's a great thing to be aware of as you go through this, because there's a time in which it may be appropriate for you to have a conversation to say, hey, would it be appropriate for me to either reduce or remove this medication, knowing I'm doing these things to move in the direction of healing? Okay. So again, I
Mhm.
have to be clear. We're not telling you to not take any medication or increase or decrease your dosage. That's for your prescribing doctor. But do be mindful of that because you're putting it in your body every single day. And although it may be necessary at this time, there will be a time if you keep doing what we're asking you to do over time, then the likelihood of you needing less of that prescription medication and or potentially giving yourself an opportunity to not be on it altogether is very, very real. And it's not to say to dismiss or minimize hearing about like we reduced this, helped you reduce this symptom and this blood work got better. But in reality, it's about how it's impacting all of your lives and how it's improving your every single day. And it's improving your relationships with the people in your life, your productivity, your ability to go and just be you. So I really want to say thank you for sharing because it's such an impact to hear our health division even. When you all share your wins, it fills our buckets because it makes us want to show up for you guys even that much more. But we appreciate it. And most importantly, 100% of the credit goes to you, Randy, for taking the information provided, showing up to your appointments, going through and asking questions and really tapping into the support that you have to get to where you're at today. So I'm super excited
Thank
for you.